Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They say they love you. You felt it. You believed it. You saw it in their effort, heard it in their voice, and trusted it with your heart. But now something has changed. The messages are shorter. The warmth feels lighter. The closeness is not what it used to be. And suddenly, your heart is restless. You replay old conversations at night. You search for signs in small details. You ask yourself questions you never thought you would ask. If they love me, why does it feel like they are drifting away? But what if this distance is not an accident? What if it is not rejection? What if it is Allah quietly moving pieces you cannot yet see? Before you chase for answers, before you let anxiety control your dignity, before you assume the story is ending, pause. Because sometimes, when Allah allows distance in love, He is not breaking your heart. He is revealing its reality, protecting its future, and preparing it for something greater than you imagined. Distance reveals the quality of the love. Closeness can feel beautiful. When two people talk every day, share everything, and give each other constant attention, it creates strong emotions. You feel wanted. You feel seen. You feel important. But strong feelings are not always the same as strong foundations. Intensity is about how powerful something feels in the moment. Stability is about how strong it remains over time. Many relationships feel deep when communication is constant. But if that connection weakens, the moment replies slow down, then it was depending more on access than on true strength. When distance appears, it removes the excitement and tests the structure underneath. Was this love built on shared values, respect, patience, and clear intention? Or was it built mainly on emotional comfort and daily reassurance? Real love is not scared of short silence. It does not immediately assume the worst. It does not collapse because of one difficult phase. Instead, it stays calm. It understands that life has ups and downs. It adjusts without losing its core. But fragile love reacts quickly. It becomes insecure. It starts to doubt everything. It needs constant proof to survive. The moment that proof becomes less frequent, fear replaces trust. Allah allows distance to show you what type of love you are experiencing. If it survives space with maturity and calmness, it has depth. If it breaks down under small pressure, it was not as strong as it felt. Think about buildings. Some look beautiful from the outside, but the foundation is weak. The first strong wind exposes the cracks. Other buildings may look simple, but their foundation is deep and strong. They stand firm even in storms. Distance is like that wind. It does not create weakness. It reveals it. Sometimes Allah allows space not to end something, but to test its durability. Because marriage, life, and responsibility will bring real challenges. If a connection cannot survive a short period of distance, how will it survive real-life pressure? What survives space? With patience, respect, and trust is more likely to survive life with strength. Distance is not always a sign that love is dying. Sometimes it is the test that shows whether the love was real, mature, and ready for something serious, or simply emotional and temporary. Distance separates attachment from tawakkul. There is a big difference between loving someone and depending on them for your emotional survival. Many people do not realize this difference until distance happens. Attachment says, "I need you close to feel okay." Tawakkul says, "I care about you, but my heart trusts Allah first." Attachment creates fear. Tawakkul creates calm. When someone is always present, messaging, calling, giving attention, it feels safe. You begin to connect your peace to their presence. Their words make you feel secure. Their silence makes you feel anxious. Slowly, without noticing, your emotional balance starts depending on them. Then distance appears. Replies become slower. Conversations become shorter. And suddenly, your mood changes with every notification. You overthink simple things. You check your phone again and again. You start imagining worst-case scenarios. This moment is not just about them. It is about you. Allah may allow distance to show you where your heart was leaning too heavily. Were you trusting Him to manage your future? Or were you trying to control the outcome through constant closeness? Tawakkul does not mean you do not care. It means you understand that no human being controls your destiny. If someone is written for you, no distance can remove them. If they are not written for you, no amount of chasing can secure them. Attachment makes you feel like you must fix everything immediately. Tawakkul teaches you to pause, to breathe, to say, Ya Allah, if this is good for me, keep it. If it is not, remove it gently and replace it with better. When your trust is in Allah, you do not panic over temporary silence. You do not lose sleep over delayed replies. You do not beg for reassurance. You stay balanced because your security is not coming from a human heart. Distance becomes a mirror. It shows whether your heart was attached to the person more than it was attached to the one who created both of you. And sometimes Allah creates space not to hurt you, but to pull your heart back toward Him. Because when your peace depends too much on a person, even small changes feel like disasters. But when your peace depends on Allah, even uncertainty feels manageable. Distance separates emotional dependence from real trust. It teaches you to love without losing yourself, to care without becoming controlled by fear, to hope for someone while still surrendering the outcome to Allah. That is the difference between attachment and tawakkul. One creates anxiety. The other creates strength. Distance uncovers character. When everything is smooth, almost anyone can appear kind, caring, and committed. When conversations are easy and emotions are high, people naturally show their best side. It is comfortable to be good when nothing is challenging you. But real character is not tested in comfort. It is tested in difficulty. Distance creates that difficulty. When communication becomes less frequent, when misunderstandings are possible, when emotions are not constantly being reassured, that is when true character begins to show. Not the version someone presents when everything feels perfect, but the version that appears when effort is required. Some people respond to distance with maturity. They communicate clearly. They explain when they are busy. They reassure without being asked. Even if space exists, they maintain respect. Their behavior remains consistent. Others respond with avoidance. They become unclear. They disappear without explanation. They leave you guessing. They shift their energy without taking responsibility for it. Distance does not create these qualities. It reveals them. In closeness, it is easy to hide poor communication skills because you are constantly interacting. But when space enters, you see how someone handles discomfort. Do they address problems calmly, or do they withdraw and hope things fix themselves? You also see priorities more clearly. If someone values you, they may be busy, but they will not make you feel invisible. Effort does not require constant talking. It requires consistency and intention. Allah sometimes allows distance so that you can observe without emotion controlling your vision. When feelings are intense, you may ignore small warning signs, but in space, patterns become clearer. If someone disappears at the first sign of emotional responsibility, that is information. If they cannot handle short-term uncertainty with patience and honesty, that is also information. Character is not proven by sweet words during good times. It is proven by behavior during uncertain times. Distance removes performance. It removes the comfort of constant closeness. What remains is who the person truly is when maintaining the connection requires effort, honesty, and emotional discipline. And sometimes Allah allows you to see this before deeper commitments are made. Not to hurt you, but to protect you from building a future with someone whose character only works when things are easy. Distance is uncomfortable, but it is also clarifying. It shows you not just how much someone feels, but how responsibly they act. Distance builds self-respect. When someone becomes distant, your emotions immediately want relief. You want clarity. You want reassurance. You want things to go back to how they were. That desire is natural, but how you respond in that moment defines your self-respect. Distance puts you in a vulnerable position. You feel uncertain. You feel less in control. And in that state, it becomes very easy to overreact, to send long emotional messages, to ask for constant explanations, to lower your standards just to keep the connection alive. But this is where self-respect is built. Self-respect means you value yourself even when someone else's attention decreases. It means you do not beg to be chosen. You do not force someone to give what they should give willingly. You do not shrink your dignity just to feel secure. Islam teaches balance. You can care deeply without humiliating yourself. You can ask for clarity once without chasing endlessly. You can give space without losing your worth. When Allah allows distance, He may be giving you a chance to practice emotional discipline. Can you stay calm without demanding immediate answers? Can you maintain your character even when you feel anxious? Can you walk away, if necessary, without destroying your own dignity? Love should not require you to lose yourself. It should not demand that you constantly prove your value. A healthy connection does not need you to sacrifice your standards to survive. Distance also teaches you something important. If someone truly values you, they will not need to be chased. They will not need to be reminded of your importance every day. Effort given freely is far more meaningful than effort forced by pressure. Sometimes Allah creates space so you can see your own strength, so you can realize that your worth does not increase or decrease based on someone's level of attention. Your value comes from being a servant of Allah, not from being desired by a person. Self-respect grows when you choose patience over panic, when you choose silence over emotional outbursts, when you choose dignity over desperation. And even if the relationship does not continue, you walk away stronger, because you did not abandon yourself trying to hold on to someone else. Distance is painful, but if handled correctly, it builds something powerful inside you. A quiet confidence that says, I can love, but I will not lose my dignity in the process. That is self-respect. Distance protects you from forcing what is not written. One of the hardest things to accept is that not everything you want is written for you. When you care deeply about someone, you naturally want the connection to move forward. You want clarity. You want commitment. You want security. But sometimes, without realizing it, you begin to force what Allah has not written to grow yet, or may not have written at all. Forcing does not always look aggressive. Sometimes it looks like over-texting when the energy is not being matched. Sometimes it looks like pushing serious conversations when the other person is not ready. Sometimes it looks like convincing yourself to ignore clear signs because you are afraid to lose them. Distance interrupts that forcing. When someone pulls back, you are no longer able to control the flow. You cannot speed things up. You cannot guarantee outcomes. You are faced with reality instead of imagination, and that interruption can be protection. In Islam, we believe in Qadr, that Allah has already written what is meant for us. What is truly yours will not require you to beg for it, chase it endlessly, or lose your peace trying to secure it. It may require patience. It may require effort. But it will not require you to damage your dignity or ignore red flags. When you are forcing something, your heart becomes restless. You feel anxious. You overthink constantly. You try to hold everything together by yourself. That is not how something written by Allah feels. What is written for you may test you, but it will not make you feel like you are fighting alone to keep it alive. Sometimes Allah allows distance so you stop pushing against His plan. So you stop exhausting yourself trying to create a future that He did not design for you. Distance creates space for clarity. It allows you to step back and ask, is this connection flowing naturally? Or am I carrying it alone? Is there mutual effort? Or am I the only one trying to keep it stable? If something requires constant pressure to survive, it is unstable. Healthy relationships grow with cooperation, not with control. And if the distance causes the connection to fade completely, that is also protection. It means you were saved from investing more years, more emotion, and more hope into something that was never meant to last. Forcing what is not written only leads to frustration. Trusting what is written brings peace. Distance reminds you that you do not have to fight for what Allah has already planned for you, and you do not have to be afraid of losing what was never truly yours. Sometimes the space you hate today is the shield that saves you tomorrow. Distance refines emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is not proven when everything feels safe and secure. It is proven when things feel uncertain, when communication changes, when you do not have clear answers, when your heart feels uneasy, but you still choose to respond wisely. Distance creates that test. When someone becomes less available, your emotions immediately react. You may feel fear. You may feel rejection. You may feel anger. These feelings are natural. But maturity is not about what you feel. It is about how you manage what you feel. An emotionally immature response reacts instantly. It assumes the worst. It sends emotional messages without thinking. It creates conflict to relieve anxiety. It demands reassurance in ways that create pressure. An emotionally mature response pauses. It reflects. It asks, do I have clear evidence, or am I reacting to fear? It controls tone. It chooses calm communication instead of emotional explosion. Allah refines hearts through discomfort. When distance happens, you are being trained in patience. You are learning how to sit with uncertainty without letting it control your behavior. You are learning how to trust without having full visibility. Distance also teaches you how to regulate expectations. You begin to understand that not every delay is rejection. Not every quiet moment is abandonment. Sometimes people are busy. Sometimes they are overwhelmed. Maturity allows room for realistic thinking instead of emotional storytelling. This period forces self-awareness. You begin to notice your triggers. Do you fear being left? Do you overthink silence? Do you seek constant validation? These realizations are growth. Without distance, you may never see these patterns clearly. Emotional maturity also means accepting outcomes with balance. If the relationship continues, you appreciate it without becoming possessive. If it ends, you grieve without losing your stability. Allah may allow space to strengthen your inner world. Because marriage and long-term relationships require emotional discipline. They require calm communication during stress. They require patience during misunderstandings. If a short period of distance completely breaks your emotional control, that is a sign of growth still needed. And that is not a failure. It is an opportunity. Distance refines you. It teaches you how to respond instead of react. How to think instead of assume. How to stay grounded instead of panicking. And when you learn to remain steady during uncertainty, you become stronger than the situation itself. That is emotional maturity. Not the absence of feelings, but the ability to manage them with wisdom. Distance does not override Qadr. At the center of every fear about distance is one question: what if I lose them? But in Islam, we believe something powerful. What Allah has written for you cannot be taken away by time, space, or silence. Qadr means divine decree. It means that before you were born, Allah already knew who would enter your life, who would stay, and who would leave. No human being has the power to cancel what Allah has written for you, and no amount of effort can secure what He has not written. When distance happens, it can feel like things are slipping away. You may think, if I don't fix this now, I will lose them forever. But what is truly meant for you does not depend on panic. It does not depend on perfect timing. It does not depend on you controlling every detail. If someone is written to be part of your life, especially in something as serious as marriage, distance will not erase that. It may test both of you. It may slow things down. It may expose weaknesses that need to be corrected. But it will not disappear simply because communication paused for a while. And if someone fades completely despite your patience, dignity, and effort, that too is Qadr, not as punishment, not as humiliation, but as redirection. Sometimes we see distance as rejection, but in reality, it may be Allah clearing space for something more suitable. He sees compatibility beyond emotion. He sees future conflicts you cannot see. He knows what your heart can handle and what would eventually harm you. Believing in Qadr brings calmness. It allows you to stop fighting outcomes that are not in your control. It allows you to say, Ya Allah, if this person is good for my dunya and akhirah, keep them near. And if not, remove them gently and replace them with better. Distance cannot block what Allah has decided. If two hearts are meant to reunite, circumstances will align. Conversations will reopen. Effort will return naturally. You will not need to manipulate events to make it happen. And if it does not return, then trust that the one who wrote your story removed it for a reason greater than your current understanding. The peace of Qadr is this: you do not lose what is truly yours. Distance may feel powerful. Silence may feel heavy, but neither of them is stronger than Allah's decree. When you understand that, you stop fearing space, because you know that what is written for you will reach you. even if it has to travel through distance to do so. If you are experiencing distance right now, do not let your heart rush to the worst conclusion. Do not let fear write a story that Allah has not confirmed. Distance is uncomfortable, but it is not always destruction. Sometimes it is revelation, sometimes it is protection, sometimes it is purification, and sometimes it is simply a reminder that your heart belongs to Allah before it belongs to anyone else. If the love is real and written for you, it will survive with dignity, patience, and trust. If it fades despite your calmness and self-respect, then Allah is redirecting you toward something better, something more stable, more aligned, more peaceful. Do not chase what requires you to lose yourself. Do not beg for what Allah can replace with ease. Instead, strengthen your tawakkul, protect your dignity, improve your character, grow through the silence, because at the end of the day, no distance can block what Allah has decreed, and no silence can silence what is truly meant for you. Trust the process, trust the wisdom, and most importantly, trust the one who controls every heart.